Conor McGregor and your guy Dustin Poirier. So the story, the saga that is Conor McGregor in 2020 took another turn on Thursday when he revealed to the world that he has in fact accepted a fight against Dustin Poirier.
Mhm.
And he also said that he would be donating $500,000 to the Good Fight Foundation because that was, a stipulation in the charity fight that they were trying to set up. But there is a bit of a stipulation on his part now in accepting this fight against Dustin Poirier, and it's that he wants the fight to happen in 2020. Now, the UFC, from what I'm told, offered him the fight on January 23rd because that's the next pay-per-view without a title fight on it. We know that on November 21st, we're getting 2 title fights. We know it's going to be Alex Perez versus Davison Figueiredo on November 21st, and also Valentina Shevchenko versus Jennifer Maia. And as of right now, we know that Megan Anderson versus Amanda Nunes for the 145 title will be on December 12th. We lost Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. They're trying to add something. So Conor is saying, hey, you got, a thin pay-per-view to be kind on November 21st, and you also just lost your main event on December 12th. Put me on one of those. UFC is saying, no, we want you on January 23rd. What do you make of how this whole situation is playing out?
I wonder how it works business wise, right? Like, how does it work in terms of a business? Like you said, Conor McGregor, he does big business every time he's out there. Like I said before, get him on a fight. He wants to fight. I thought that you losing. There was a fight in November. I said put him as the main event in November and put those guys in the co-main event. That works. I also believe that come December 19th now it works, right? Because Amanda Nunes is a title fight. You only have one. Putting Conor McGregor on the in the November card now, because I didn't know that Valentina Shevchenko was fighting on there whenever we spoke about it last week. Putting Conor McGregor on a pay-per-view with 2 champions who share the pay-per-view revenue, that's going to be like a massive bill. But December 19th, you have one champion, right? You have
December
just
12th.
Amanda.
December 12th.
December 12th, sorry. You have just Amanda, right? And Amanda does pretty good for herself anyways. So then you don't have to worry about splitting the pie way too much. But I mean, I'd let him fight. I mean, if he really wants to fight, I'd let him fight. And I hats off to Conor for the donation, right? Because you don't have to do that. You don't have to give Dustin the 500,000. I tweeted that the other day, like, hey, I know at times I can talk about Conor and it may come off as if I don't like him. I think Conor's great. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's a great guy. But when he does something good, I want to applaud him. And for him to say he's giving 500 grand to Dustin and his foundation, and for Dustin to say that he's going to build a boxing gym on the side of town that we grew up on, that touches very close to me, and I appreciate that. So if he wants to fight, I say give him December 12th. Put him on there with Amanda Nunes, and let's see how it goes.
Well, okay, so let's get a little inside baseball here for the fans that might not understand what is going on. There's a bit of chess being played here between the two sides, right? So the UFC is saying, great, you want to do a charity match, you and Dustin? All right, how about you guys actually fight for us because you're both contracted to us? So let's be
Mhm.
honest, they weren't thinking of booking Conor versus Dustin too, but it was kind of forced upon them after those
Yep.
tweets. So they said, all right, next available pay-per-view, January 23rd, let's start the year off with a bang. Conor's response is, no, I wanted to fight 3 times in 2020. Put me on one of these cards that are a little thin. The UFC doesn't want to do that, as you alluded to, because when Conor fights, it usually does
Yeah.
very well pay-per-view wise, right? In the 1 to 2 range these days, correct? Now, the
Yeah.
champions usually get pay-per-view points. Davison Figueiredo is not a big draw, but he gets
Oh,
pay-per-view
for
points. So
sure.
does Valentina. So does Amanda Nunes. This is why when Conor fights these days, other champions aren't on those cards because they don't want to give pay-per-view points from a $2 million or $2 million buy pay-per-view to someone who didn't necessarily earn it, because now you're dividing that pie a little too much and you're not, making as much yourself. So that's the game of chess. He's saying, just put me on with another champion. And they're like, no, 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 we're going to put you on a card with no champion. What they could do, and I wonder what you think about this, is what if they told someone like Davison, what if they did this? Davison and
I
Valentina, we
think it
want to
sets
make this.
such a bad precedent.
Okay.
I know where you're going. I
Is
think
it
it sets such a
insulting?
bad precedent. It's so I know exactly where you're going, where you're
Mhm.
saying, hey,
Yeah.
Davison, how about you move to December? Or Valentina, you move that sets such a bad precedent
Insulting?
for a champion. It's very insulting as a champion to go, hey, we have a fight card that we promised to you, but now this guy wants to fight. We're moving you off the card and we're going to give him that card individually. It's such a bad precedent, and it'll leave such a bad taste in the champion's mouth, right? This is a champion. This is a person that is going to be fighting for you, and you never know what they're going to become. But yeah, I think it's too big a precedent to move someone who's already scheduled to fight off to accommodate someone else. that essentially is saying, I want to fight and I want to fight now. Because what happens next time, right? Like, I think it just sets too bad a precedent to start moving fighters because your biggest star says, I want to fight today. I'm going to fight for you, but I want to fight today. It's kind of
Okay,
a bad precedent.
I'm happy you said that because I agree. I do think that's insulting. So what about this? What about this? What if you sell it this way? You put Valentina on the December 12th card, not because you want to reach. Listen, you put Valentina and Amanda on the same card because now they're flying in the same orbit to build the trilogy, and then you put Davison on the same card as Conor, and he gets the rub as the co-main. What's wrong with that?
No. I get it. Listen, if you're going to move a champ, right? I think having Amanda and Valentino on the same card is great, right? It's like you can do a whole bunch of stuff in that way. But if you're going to try to business-wise, right? If you're going to move people, right? And like I said, I don't think you should move those people off of that card for McGregor in November. But if you do, you move them back, give them more time to prepare for their fights. I get it. But I say you put all 3 title fights on the same night. And then those 3 title fights you hope will sell. You get Davison fight first, right? Amanda gets eyes, bro. Amanda gets eyes. People tune into Amanda Nunes now.
Moving them, and you just said not to move them.
No, I'm saying you don't, but you're saying move Valentina instead. If you're going to move one, and you're going to move them both, right? If you're going to move them both back and just try to all put them together and hope that pay-per-view, those 3 together, does well and does sell. Because I just think that if you sell 3 title fights, you don't sell because Conor doesn't need a belt at this point, right? It can be just Conor McGregor versus whoever, but you have to try to sell with the Amanda fight, and I think you put all 3 of them together if that's what you do. But me, I'm not moving them. I'm leaving it just as it is, and I'm telling McGregor, hey man, try to just fight in January. Why is it such a big deal? Because again, it's all.
Why it's a big deal? Because and I wanted to know if you wanted to apologize to him because people like you said he didn't want to fight, that he was just playing games. So he's like, not only do I want to fight, I want to fight next month. I want to apologize.
First off, when he goes and fights, yes, I'll be like, wow, dude, yeah, you want to fight? Apologize. But the reality is, Ariel, like, is he really just kind of like, is it just a big, power play, right? Like, move your champions for me to have this fight date. So I think it's just like, God dang, dog, again? We doing it again? So you're just gonna try to punk me, right? Like you move your champions because I decided I want this date. It's a hard spot, man. And you want him to fight. But seriously, man, are you giving Conor McGregor more power? Like, do you really relent more power? I
love the idea of moving Valentina to December 12th because you say, I want Valentina and Amanda to be on the same card. They both win probably.
If this was not public, if it wasn't public, then you do it privately. But since people know that it's already set, the visuals of you moving them to make sure that Conor got what he wanted is not good. And it's not even that it's not good for the fans. It's not good for Conor to know that he has that type of power. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
One.
Yeah, it's a
fascinating game of chess being played here. And in the end, it might end up being January 23rd. You just hope that it's not a take it or leave it. Imagine they say take it or leave it January 23rd, and then he says, I'm out. I don't think that would be good for anyone. I mean, it
won't be good for anyone. We got to find a way to make it work. And I think they will, right? Because think about it. Early in the year, he retired. A couple weeks ago, it seemed like they were going to fight in a charity match. Now we're talking about a date in 6 weeks or 5 weeks, right? That's how fast things can change.
The Manny thing, too, in there, too.
Yeah, the Manny thing was in there. So I think things change really fast, and I believe that that's going to happen with this situation too. It'll go work out.
So you're not going to apologize yet. That's cool. I respect it.
You want me to apologize to Conor McGregor because I said that I didn't think I never even said I don't think he wants to fight. I said if he really wants to fight, give him that date, and then he takes that date. Sadly, I didn't realize that they don't want to I didn't know they don't want to pay all these dudes pay-per-view. I didn't know. I thought for a while Conor didn't want to be on the pay-per-view with champions because he didn't want to pay everybody. I didn't know.
It doesn't come out of his pocket. He makes his
but I'm saying he's just building. He's like that. This is something I heard a while back. I don't know where I got it from, but maybe it was you or it was Ariel and the bad guy. Ariel and the bad guy said that McGregor didn't like main evented pay-per-views with champions. So I got it from you in jail. Yeah, I got it from you in jail. That's where I got it. I got it from Ariel and the bad guy. So if anybody owes an apology, it's you in jail to me. You guys need to apologize to me.
You could have said, I want to take this opportunity to apologize to absolutely nobody. And it felt like that would have felt right. But I served that one down the middle for you to knock it out.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.